I'm McKiernan, and today I'm going to show you how to do bags of hope. Now, I'm a writer myself and a creative writing tutor, and I particularly like using creative writing to improve people's health and well-being. There's a certain type of writing called journaling, which is a series of simple creative writing exercises that are underpinned by psychology, and we're going to use just a couple of those today. So now, normally I would make a bag, and this would be part of the session, and I would show people how to make their own out of scraps of material. You may not have anything around the house that you can do that with, but I will show you at the end in case you want to have a go. So I've been looking around the house trying to find things that I could use as an alternative. I found a little gift bag that I got at Christmas. Probably had some bath salts in or something. This is a little bag for putting soap in. This is a tin that had Turkish Delight in. This is the box that my mouse came in from my laptop. You can even use just an envelope. Anything will do. But first, we're going to start with the contents. So for this you're going to need a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. Any scrappy bit of paper will do, because you'll be able to redo it at the end if you want to put it onto something nicer. And again, I'll come back to that later. We know that life has been difficult lately, for all of us. Throughout lockdown, we've been isolated, we've been cut off from friends and family, and it's been a very anxious time, I think, for everybody. And even now that restrictions are being lifted, some people are still shielding, some people are quite naturally apprehensive about going out. And so it's important to try and stay positive. And Bags of Hope is about doing that. It's about creating some tools to help us to stay positive and to give us a little bit of support when we do eventually go out and about, or even just when we're in the house and we're feeling a little bit low. One of the ways that we can do this is by using lists. Now, we all know what it's like, for example, when it's Christmas coming and you've got all the presents to buy, you've got all the things to sort out. It may be that you're thinking of going on a holiday. Again, lots of things to think about, passports, tickets, etc. Getting your house decorated, and you have to think about all the things you're going to have to move. With all of these big activities, it really helps if you break it down into smaller steps and create a list. It helps to get your mind to calm down and focus on the important details. And that's what we're going to do today. So, on our piece of paper, we're going to start by, on the left hand side, writing down the numbers 1 to 20. Just like that, leaving one line, free line, next to each number. Okay? Now, in a minute, I'm going to ask you to write down 20 good things in your life. You don't have to think about them too much. The aim is to try and tap into your subconscious and just put them down onto the paper. Also, you can repeat things more than once. That's absolutely fine. If something comes up twice, just put it down. You don't have to put them in any order. The aim is to just put 20 things down as quickly as you can, which is why I'm going to time you. I'm going to give you 4 minutes to do this. And at the end, I'm going to ring my lovely little invalid bell. Okay, I'm going to do it at the same time. So, get your pen, your paper, are you ready to go? Let's set the timer and go. Done. Now, if you're stuck, I'm going to give you a few suggestions. Okay, so maybe your favourite colour, your favourite holiday destination, your favourite food, your favourite type of chocolate, or maybe it's another type of treat. You could put a friend or relative's name down, perhaps your pets, favourite place you like to go, what kind of weather do you like best, what do you like to cook, what do you like to read, what do you like to watch on TV, do you have any hobbies, are there any sports that you follow, have you got any particular favourite items of clothing, is there anything you like to do just to treat yourself? Okay, keep going. Don't worry, like I say, if you want to repeat one, that's absolutely fine. Nobody's going to read this list other than you, so it doesn't matter what on earth you put on it. Could be your favourite piece of jewellery, your favourite shoes, your favourite room in the house. What do you use when you want a bit of comfort? Have you got a blanket or a nice coat that you like to use? Perhaps it's your slippers or your dressing gown. Have you got a favourite scent? A favourite smell of nature? Is it nature? Could it be an animal? A bird? A tree? A flower? Perhaps you like plants? Perhaps you like the sea? Keep going. You've still got a little bit of time there. But try not to overthink it. Try to just put down whatever comes into your head. It doesn't matter if you're surprised by that and you think, wow, I wouldn't have thought that was a priority. Perhaps like me, you like gardening, travelling, sleeping. Try not to judge yourself. Don't question where the ideas come from. Just go with them. Don't worry about what you don't put on the list. It doesn't mean that you don't like them or love them. They've just not come into your head today, and that's absolutely fine. Perhaps you've got a favourite piece of music, a favourite book. Nearly there? A little bit more time? It's amazing how quickly 4 minutes can go, isn't it? Try to get to the end if you can, even if you're just putting things down more than once. Again, like I said, that's absolutely fine. Okay, we're nearly out of time. Are you ready? And stop. Good. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to look at our list of 20 things and we're going to reduce it down to 10. And we're also going to put them in order of priority, just for today. So this will be number 1 is your top and 10 is the bottom. Now again, just let your subconscious deal with this. Let it surprise you and don't feel guilty. Don't feel bad if you put something really surprising at number 1, like crisps for example. It's just for today. It's just going with what your subconscious comes up with and nobody else needs to see this. So, what you're going to do is just write the numbers 1 to 10 next to whichever item you think should be whichever number. Don't worry about the ones that you're leaving out. You may not leave that many if you've already put some duplicates down anyway. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do this, and at the end I'm going to ring my bell again. So you ready? Okay. Let's go. Again, try not to overthink this. Don't force your mind to just come up with it. Just let your pen just hover around and think, okay, which one am I just going to go with first? You can change your mind if you want to, but try not to. Try to just let it come out. as it's going to come out today. Perhaps you want to rejig your numbers round. Some people like to just select 10 first and then put them into order. It's entirely up to you. You can always replay this video and try again if you're not happy with the results. Okay, are you nearly there? Are you ready to make your final selection before I ring the bell? And stop. Now we're going to look at what else we're going to put into the bag. Okay, now comes the fun part. Now we're going to look for some little objects to put into our receptacle, whether that's a little bag or an envelope or a box or whatever. Now I'm sure that you, like me, have got a drawer or a box somewhere in your house where you put all the little bits and pieces that you can't find somewhere else to put. Things that just don't seem to have a home. And that's a great place to start looking. So I've been through my drawer and these are some of the objects that I found. Now I'm particularly looking for things that are nice to hold for some reason. So this is of a little raffle prize, a little Easter egg. I've got an empty bobbin from a reel of cotton, a piece of string, an old dice, a nice shell from the beach that's lovely to touch, a cork out of a champagne bottle, a strange bead, I honestly don't know what this is, but it's nice to hold, a couple of badges, some buttons, nice big buttons, nice colourful buttons, a little Easter chick, a Marie Curie badge, a pebble, the kind of little decoration you get on a Christmas present, an earring, a ring, a key, a bell of my cat's collar, a little plug that you put into your record player, a little star, another little badge, a little semi-precious stone, a glass bead, a huge metal ball bearing, and a little old coin, foreign coin. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to make myself a cup of tea while you go and hunt around your house. Just find anything, little bits and pieces. Just make sure that they're small enough to fit into your receptacle. Okay? Happy hunting! Did you have fun? Did you find lots of things? Don't worry you haven't. You can always do this again later and add to your collection. Okay, so we're just going to look at some of my objects and think about how I might link them up now with the items on my list. So I have cats. An obvious one would be to use this bell because it probably came off my cat's collar. I have the sea, a blue pebble. This would be nice, piece of blue glass. But I might use ones that are a little bit less obvious. So for example, I may choose the Marie Curie daffodil to match up with books, because books bring colour and light into my life, and so that's a subconscious link that I'm making. So you could just make any link that you like. It may be something very obvious, it may be something very vague, very tenuous, and it doesn't matter because it's only you that's making the connection. So you don't have to explain it to anybody else. Okay? So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to spend the next 2 minutes choosing an object to represent each of the items on our list, the 10 items. Try to choose objects but they're nice to hold. Shells, for example, that you can run through your fingers. The pebble's got a nice weight to it and it's smooth and again runs through your fingers. The dice is good because you can turn it. We've got a nice big button again, that's nice and smooth to touch. Something like this that I can hold within the palm of my hand. A piece of string that I can knot or loop around my fingers. So choose objects that feel nice but also that make a link with your objects. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that. Are you ready? Let's go. You may want to swap them around while you're doing this. Don't feel that you have to go with whatever your first choice is. You might want to think it through a little bit as well. See if you've got quite a nice range of objects that you can react to in different ways, respond to, move around. Keys are nice, especially a small key like this that get warm when you touch it. There's something very positive about a key as well, about unlocking things. Coins are nice, especially something like this one. It's nice and thin, delicate, and they warm with your hand. An object like this that you can roll between your fingers. A ring that you can put on and off. They're all little objects that we can use to occupy our hands. If you manage to match up all of your 10 with an object, that's our 2 minutes are over. Okay, now that I've chosen all my objects, I'm going to now look at putting them into my receptacle. So for today I'm going to choose this tin, which I think is really nice. So I'm going to put my objects, my 10 objects, into the tin. And I'm going to go back to my list now, and I said at the beginning that you got the opportunity to redo your list, so it doesn't matter if you used a scrappy piece of paper. And what I've got here is a couple of bits of card. This was, I can't remember, this was on some kind of packaging. It's a nice little piece of card with fish on it. So I'm just going to neaten this up, cut away the old edges, and then I'm going to measure it to fit it in the tin. I need to make that a little bit smaller. Yep, that's going to fit in the tin. And then what I'm going to do is to write my 10 objects, my 10 items, on the back of the piece of card, nice and neatly, and then it's going to go into the tin. Okay, so we'll just do that stage now. So if you just want to find yourself a little piece of paper, I've got here an old Christmas card. That's nice. I could cut off a little image like that. Absolutely anything. If you just want to have a look around now for something that you could use that's a little bit more attractive than your scrappy piece of paper. Okay. Okay, so hope you found yourself a nice little piece of paper or a little piece of card. And what I'm going to do now is write the numbers 1 to 10 down the side of the card. And then I'm going to write on the card my 10 objects in the order of preference against the numbers. So just like to do that now. This may be your chance to change any of the items on your card or rearrange the order. You can do that, but remember, this is only for today. This can change. That's absolutely fine. Okay, then once you've done that, you may want to put down the size of your list the items that you've chosen to represent your objects. You could do that just as a reminder. It doesn't really matter. The point is that we're trying to create a bag, a box, an envelope, whatever it is, of items that are connected to good things in your life. So, even though I've chosen to make this blue button represent a person on my list, later it may not matter that I make that connection. I may connect it with any of the good things on the list. The idea is to create a connection between the list and the objects, and to do this yourself in some personal time. So don't try and do it now quickly in a hurry. Once we finish the session, go back to your tin, your box, your bag, or whatever it is in your objects. Put some nice music on perhaps, or go and sit in the garden, somewhere where you feel relaxed. Perhaps make yourself a cup of tea or coffee or a glass of wine or whatever, and then just sit and take each object out in turn. Think about the object that is the item that is on your list, and just connect them in your mind, but as you move the objects around. So, as I'm moving this around, I could be thinking of the person who's on my list and remembering some of the nice times with them. I may try and make more of a connection between this item. There may be some reason why, I've subconsciously picked this. It may be something to do with the colour of their clothes, their favourite colour, the colour of their eyes, or something like that. But what we're trying to do is to build up a connection between good things and objects, so that when we then pick up the objects and play with them, move them around in our hand, they make us feel more positive. And that's the reason why I told you to choose small objects, so that you can carry them with you. And this is why I created the bags of hope, because I deliberately designed a little bag like this that was small enough to put into a handbag or a backpack or even a pocket that you could keep with you. So if you're sat somewhere and you're feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit stressed out, for example, at the moment with the lockdown restrictions being eased slightly, perhaps you're going onto a bus for the first time wearing a mask and you're feeling a little bit apprehensive, that if you had this with you, you'd be able to take out the objects and just move them around with your fingers. It might be in your pocket, somewhere where nobody else could see. But just doing that reminds you of the good things that are on your list and helps to relax you. I hope that makes sense. I said at the beginning that I would show you how to make a little bag like this. It's very simple and easy to do, even if you've never done any sewing before. So you just need a piece of material. It can be bigger than this, it can be smaller than this, depending on where you think you might keep your bag. And then what we're going to do is to fold the top section, make a little bit, depending on whether your fabric easily frays or not, we're going to make a little bit of an edge like that, fold it down, and what we're doing is we're creating a line with a gap big enough to fit a safety pin. We'll be able to thread the safety pin through. So you can see on this one that I've folded it over and I've just stitched it by hand along. Then what I'm going to do is fold it with the inside. So you can see with this one that this fabric has got a nice pattern on the outside, and so I'm using the plainer side as the inside, and then I'm going to pin along here. I'm going to leave this top section slightly open. I'm going to pin along here, If you don't have any pins, you don't even have any cotton or a needle at the moment, you can always glue it. You can even staple it. Just to create something for now that you can always change later. So then I'm going to stitch along, which we can see from this one, how I've done that. I've stitched along, left a little gap at the top, and then I'm going to turn it the right way out. I'm going to take a little piece of ribbon or string. These are the kind of things that you always get inside t-shirts on the shoulders for hanging up on the hanger. I cut them off and use them for all kinds of things. So you just thread in the safety pin through it so that you can push it through that gap. So if I just undo this and you can see. So we put the safety pin through one end of the ribbon. Like that. And then what we're doing is we're going to push it, and you can slide it along. You'll feel it moving along all the way till we get to the end. We pull it out, and then we can just knot the two ends together to stop the ribbon pushing itself through. Okay, so very simple and easy to do. Going back to the contents of whatever it is you're going to use, you can change this list. You might want to add in things, you might want to remove things as life changes slightly. Or you get new hobbies, new interests, new things that you just feel really happy about. The same with your objects. You can add to and you can take them away. But just the aim is to keep using them regularly so that you build up that connection, not just with the original positive thought, but just actually interacting with this object makes you feel calmer, happier. And that's why I said it's really important to find things that you can move around in your fingers, objects that go slightly warmer to the touch, things that you can twirl about. We all find it when we're stressed, I think, that we struggle to keep still, and so by giving yourself something that you can move, that reduces the need for you to move. And that's particularly helpful if you're in a stressful situation, and that might be, for example, now that lockdown restrictions are being eased, perhaps you're going on public transport for the first time and you're feeling apprehensive. You could take your little bag with you, with your objects, and then just take one of the objects out, and if you're feeling a bit stressed, just play with them. And the fact that you've made positive associations with it will help you to feel calm just by using the object. Okay, I hope all that makes sense. Again, it's something that you can add to and change as you go along. I'd just like to finish now with a poem that I found during lockdown, that I found really helpful. It's called Hope by Anthony Horowitz. The town of Hope near Aberdeen is somewhere I have seldom been, but then it's not a tourist trap. It isn't even on the map. There's certainly not much to see. They've closed the local library because they said there is no need when no one in the town can read. They've got a pub and a hotel, but neither of them's doing well. The hotel isn't quite the Ritz. The beds have fleas, the staff have nits. The only pub, the Rose and Crown, is easily the worst in town. The one theatre's sadly gone. It burned down while the play was on. The critics thought the play so dire that all of them preferred the fire. The cinema is second rate. The films are always out of date. The last James Bond film that I saw has Bond still played by Roger Moore. The pavements are never clean because the council's far too mean to pay for cleaners, and the park is only open after dark. The grass is lumpy, full of weeds, and dogs can only walk on leads. There is a children's playground, but when school is finished, it is shut. The chief of police is 82. He can't catch crooks, he can't catch flu. The vicar surely won't be missed, since he's become an atheist. The mayor sold his golden chain, and then was never seen again. The local paper isn't bought, because there is nothing to report. The school is like a concrete bunker. Matron's drunk, the head is drunker. Now living here must really stink. At least that is what you might think. But that is simply not the case. There is no more delightful place. The fun and laughter never ends. Everyone is best of friends, and all the residents agree there's nowhere else they'd rather be. So if you're feeling uninspired, sleeping badly, waking tired, if everything is going wrong, the day feels dark, the nights too long, remember all the people who have found the following is true. It is so much easier to cope if you decide to live in hope. Thank you for watching today. I really hope you found this useful and that you enjoy making your bags of hope. Goodbye.